Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of Ignition Time. Folks, 2022 is here. In fact, we are well into 2022, but a record number of Americans are going to run into problems in the middle of 2022, according to a Fox business expert. In fact, record credit card debt will hit Americans in the middle of this year because credit card balances actually rose by $52 billion in the fourth quarter of 2021. In fact, during an interview on Mornings with Maria, credit card expert Ted Rossman said that Americans could face an all-time high in total credit card debt by the middle of this year. This is very surprising, everyone. This is what Ted Rossman said. He was specifically asked if he's surprised with credit card debt, and he said this: unfortunately, no, not surprised. Really, the only thing that is a bit surprising is how fast this is happening. We've seen this movie before with respect to during and shortly after a recession and credit card debt falls, then it climbs back up and sets new records. He also said this: the thing is, though, during the financial crisis, it took 6 years to hit bottom. And then it took another 4 years to make that climb back up. This time, we hit bottom in a little over a year. And we'll probably set a new record about a year and a half after that. So what this means is by mid-year, that is mid-year of 2022 this year, we're probably going to be looking at the highest total credit card debt that Americans have ever had. And he said this: credit cards, on the other hand, the national average is a little over 16%. And by the way, that's the average of the low end of the range on 100 popular cards. That's what people with better credit are charged. People with worse credit, you're probably looking at 20, even 24%. He's talking about interest rates that people have to pay on credit card debt. He said that's the average on the high end. So even that lower end average is a little over 16%. That's about 13 points higher than the prime rate. That's one of the highest margins we've ever seen. And yes, the Fed rate hikes should be directly passed through, probably looking at between 17 and 25% by the end of the year. So basically, what he said is that more and more Americans have now started using their credit cards after the pandemic. Remember, during the pandemic, people actually used stimulus checks and unemployment benefits to essentially pay down their credit cards. In fact, credit card debt essentially declined during the pandemic because, well, we had no place to spend our money and we were getting stimulus checks and unemployment benefits. So credit card debt actually went down. But we Americans, we are spenders. Now that the economy is reopening, people are spending again. In fact, people are spending so much that credit card debt is now on the rise. And now more and more of our fellow Americans are having to pay these high interest rates to credit card companies. And that's how these companies start to make money. This is incredible if you think about it, because at the end of the day, when we recover from the pandemic, we should hopefully try and become more financially stable. But guess what? We're starting to spend money again. In many cases, we're starting to pay credit card interest, which, by the way, makes the banks richer. And then what that does is that puts us back into the cycle of making money, spending money, making money, spending money. In fact, let's take a look at a segment with credit card expert Ted Rossman as he was speaking on Fox Business with Mornings with Maria about this very subject. Let's roll the tape and see what Rossman had to say.
Unfortunately, no, not surprised. Really, the only thing that is a bit surprising is how fast this is happening. We've seen this movie before with respect to during and shortly after a recession, credit card debt falls, then it climbs back up and sets new records. The thing is, though, during the financial crisis, it took 6 years to hit bottom, and then it took another 4 years to make that climb back up. This time, we hit bottom in a little over a year, and we'll probably set a new record about a year and a half after that. So what this means is by mid-year, we're probably going to be looking at the highest total credit card debt that Americans have ever had.
So let me know where you stand with this, because we have a situation where many millions of our fellow Americans are now getting back into credit card debt. I have a question for you. Are you now in credit card debt? At some point during the pandemic, were you able to pay off your credit card bills? And were you in a position where essentially you didn't have any credit card debt? And now, do you find yourself in a situation where you now have credit card debt and you're starting to pay interest fees to banks because you're carrying forward a credit card balance, which could range? And by the way, these interest rates could range from 16% all the way through to 24%, which is astonishing. It's very high when you really think about it. Do you have credit card debt? Let me know in the comment section below, because I want to know where our community stands with this particular situation. Credit card debt is something that can actually hurt our long-term plans to build some sort of financial freedom. In fact, I believe credit card debt actually forces individuals to remain, in fact, pulls individuals into the cycle of poverty that you see on your screen right now. The cycle of poverty is a very vicious cycle, and credit card debt actually cripples individuals financially and prevents them from actually trying to escape the cycle of poverty and try and build a life of financial freedom. Again, let's show you the cycle of poverty on your screen right now. And individuals stuck in the cycle of poverty are simply working to make ends meet all the time. They're living paycheck to paycheck. The money that comes in goes towards rent, goes towards bills, goes to pay off credit card debt. And they're unable to actually save money and have their money work for them, which, if you really think about it, is a financial tragedy. And I believe it kills the opportunity for millions of our fellow Americans to actually live the American dream. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And again, let me know whether you are essentially in credit card debt and whether you're paying these high interest rates. I want to help you overcome the cycle of poverty. Thank you so much for watching. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. My name is Dr. Nitin Chhoda. I know how it feels to be in credit card debt. I was in credit card debt for many years before I was able to essentially pay off all my bills and achieve a life of financial freedom. In fact, in this video that you see on your screen right now, I give you the entire formula that helped me achieve wealth and what I'm doing now. And if you subscribe to our channel and if you enable notifications, I'll be revealing my specific formula as well. I'll also give you important news pertaining to the country, the economy, as well as our money. My goal is to educate you and help you make your own decisions. Thank you so much for watching once again. Please click the like button. Please click subscribe. Please enable notifications. I'm looking forward to seeing you in the next episode of Ignition Time. Thank you. I'll talk to you soon. Bye.